Hello everyone and welcome back to 2S Season 14. Here we are at Bathurst Mount Panorama and it is the final race of the season. Bailey Thompson last weekend out has already won the season in Pro Class, and today I believe it is Marvin Betch who's leading the Silver Class by 20 points. However, he is not showed up today, so the guy who is in second place still has a chance to get that win in Silver Class overall. I'm joined by Aidan Bailey. Welcome.
Hello. I've won a silver class before, like a silver season before. Because if not, why? That's really unfortunate that you can't attend.
Yeah, but he's going to be using this race as his drop round. I believe he's attended every other race, so with the drop round in mind, he has decided that he will just not be able to attend today. I don't know if he has other personal things he needs to attend to, or if he's just decided that hopefully he's going to win the silver anyways. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I like the drop round though.
Yeah, it's a nice concept. I wasn't initially a big fan of it to begin with, but it does. We have to remember this is a hobby. It's not a paid professional stream or professional race or anything. It's just a bunch of guys and girls who enjoy sim racing, coming together and on a Monday evening and racing together on track for a couple of rounds, and then we move on to the next season. And that's the setup of 2S, and I think we need to remember that. So for drop rounds, makes sense if people aren't able to make it every single day. Of course, people have other commitments in real life.
We're a family here in 2S. We're not going to dump on you for like missing a single race because you have something important. That's actually important you need to do.
No, at all, no. Speaking of family, we have Tommy Asselin back in on the track. He's not been racing this whole season. I don't think he was racing whole last season either. But he is returned now after about 2-3 months off sim racing. And he sent me a message privately earlier saying he felt instantly back at home on the track and here at 2S. So it's nice to see familiar faces show up again as he instantly puts his car on provisional pole position.
Yeah, Tommy is very, very quick all the time, especially around Bathurst. Bathurst is like his track, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And we have both me and Tommy and Ben Lowe's as well have shared quite a big success at Bathurst, getting a podium in a 12-hour race together. And honestly, I think that is the last time I have been at Bathurst in this game. Another new face we have today is Sergei Sotskov. Apologies if I get the name wrong. I was following him in the practice session. Absolutely rapid driver, and there he is, 1/10 off provisional pole.
I think somebody needs moving up to pro.
I do believe Silver Class at the moment, with the looks of it, he could be one of those drivers that is a qualifying professional, but when it comes to race pace, he struggles a bit more. We don't know yet, as all we've seen is his quali pace, so that'll be an interesting one to watch. But you're right, if that pace continues, he definitely needs to be moved up to Pro Class, because that is astonishing quick first lap.
Very quick lap. If you're anywhere near Tommy's laps, you're on the right path.
Yeah. I was actually doing some laps earlier with the guys, so the track is warmer now. I will give it that, but I felt like just giving it a go, jumping back in the driver's seat for a change, coming out the commentator's seat, and actually I was quite proud of myself because I was only just about a couple of tenths behind Tommy's fastest lap in that practice session. So it was nice to see that I still got it around this track, but I will say I tried to do the same thing last week, well not last week, but when we went to Nürburgring, and oh my was I rusty at Nürburgring, but for some reason today at Mount Panorama I felt just right at home again.
This was always my best track, I think. I had to put a lot of time into it originally to get it there, but I feel like once you're there and you know it, you can pick it back up again so quickly, and it's purely muscle memory, this track.
Yeah, when you think about it, there's not actually that much of track you need to learn. There's not that many corners compared to, because most of it is either flat out or lifting.
Yeah,
and there's only 2 or 3 braking points that are quite crucial.
They are dangerous braking points.
They are dangerous. They're very tricky to get right, but it's not the trickiest of tracks to get right. But I think it's one of those tracks everyone can get quick at it, but to be extremely fast at it takes it to a whole nother level.
And consistent. Keeping it out the wall is for like today we're racing for, is it 40 or 45 minutes?
It's 45 minutes.
that it's not forgiving at all. If you make one slip up, you're in a wall.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very unforgiving track in that sense. In my practice session, I had a slide going up the uphill section, and I caught the car initially, and then the car started sliding again, and then there was no chance for me to catch it, and straight into the wall I went. And it was just this minute little slide from the rear on the uphill section. You catch it, but then there's another bump, another curb or something you hit while catching, and then boom, you're off again.
My last race here in 2S I was going very quick for most of the race, and then about 15 minutes left, I crashed into a wall, and then I crashed again.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then
You were...
I think one more time into...
Yeah. Oh! Just
Mills.
as Gareth Wells does there. It's prime example. If he just goes a little bit wide on the corner exit down at Forest elbow, and he hits the outside wall, bounces him straight into the inner wall.
A perfect example of very unforgiving.
It's almost like he was listening to us. I would say he just wanted to demonstrate the difficulties of this track. Also, meanwhile, while we've been talking, Federico Vagnolo has set a provisional pole position time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds, which is an absolutely blistering lap time. And I think it will take a lot for these drivers behind to be able to match that, or if not, be able to get ahead. But I'm sure we'll see the times drop once people get used to the temperatures, once the cars are dialed in, once the drivers are dialed in, to be honest. We'll probably see quite a nice shootout for pole position at the very end of the race.
I'm pretty sure Bailey said he wasn't going to do quali. I know he's out now, but I'm guessing he's just practicing quickly. But I would have loved to see where he would have slotted in this.
Yeah, maybe we'll go riding on board with Bailey Thompson. Oh, Sergei Sotskov has to abandon his lap on the final corners. He gets a little bit too sideways there. But let's ride on board with Bailey Thompson, who is your 2S Season 14 Pro Class winner. Or Pro Class champion, I should say. Sounds a bit more official. But here he goes, hugs the inside wall, gets on the power nice and early, all the way to the outside wall on the corner exit. Now there's a long straight to navigate through. We have seen before people crash on this straight, somehow. I'm not sure exactly how, but...
what a race that was.
That was an insane race.
My first silver class win.
It was one of the races I was looking forward to, and I was taken out in that crash, unfortunately. Anyways, brake at between the 100 and 150 board. Don't get like too much curb on the inside, others will get a bit sideways. Run away all the way to the curb on the outside. Don't run on the grass here. Bailey Thompson taking all sorts of swanky lines, but maybe this is what he's been doing all season. Brake at the second last grid slot. Trying to keep your car getting to turn in there is very difficult. Getting across the line is also... You can lose a lot of time on that corner exit there, and it seems like Bailey Thompson's about to start his first flying lap, braking at the red marker board, dipping it into the slight banking of the corner, getting the car rotated. Nice exit. Bit of a longer straight, shorter straight compared to the one he was just on. But he will have to brake at a bit of an asphalt patch you'll see coming up on the left, shift down into third gear, and then we'll see him carry the momentum and speed through the corner as he hugs the inside, but then runs out wide quite early to get the maximum exit that he can, possibly, for the next section, which is a flat left-hander into a straight braking zone, into an uphill left-hander, which you can hug the inside wall and try and keep the car from sliding. If you slide a little bit there, you lose a bunch of time, because that is the run that sets you up to the whole uphill section. There's no braking point for a while now. You can technically do this flat in quali trim, I believe. Yeah, I was just listening, he was doing a flat. Very difficult to do. Just making sure you navigate the corners through the high-speed section. Don't get onto the grass, so that's very tricky situation to get out of, but Bailey Thompson managed it nicely. Hug the inside wall for this corner, does it nicely. Gets on the power nice and early, slides it around all over the place, almost hits the advertising board on the left, but down into Forest elbow yet again, which is where we joined him, as he hugs the inside wall, goes out nice and wide, almost touches. I think he actually did touch the wall slightly, but it's been a bit of a scruffy first lap from Bailey Thompson. I don't think he's trying his hardest, but it definitely looks rapid.
That was a very aggressive lap.
For sure, and he's not over and finished with it just yet. He's got a couple more corners to navigate. A very tricky braking zone coming up in the McLaren. He has to brake between the 150 and the 100 board. He does so nicely. Down into third gear. Very beautiful management of the momentum through the corner. It runs onto the grass yet again.
He's invalidating.
He has invalidated his lap, but I'll tell you exactly what his lap time would have been if he didn't invalidate. Nice last corner there, and he crosses the line is a 2:01.9. So that would actually have put him around around P7, I think.
Not bad for first lap out.
No, but again,
Samuel,
sorry.
I said that Sam said in chat that he said he wouldn't do quality, which I said if you were listening to the whole stream, Sam. But, fake fan. Not like you're driving or anything. Well, you're not.
Bailey did say he wouldn't do qualifying, but out here qualifying. But maybe he's invalidating on purpose on the final. Maybe that's why he's running on the grass in the final corner.
That's
It's
definitely what he's doing.
just getting some practice in.
He's just giving us insight on the lap, Sam, that's all.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to ride on board with the 2S champion of this season to see what he can do at Bathurst.
Giving us a technical rundown of every corner at Bathurst.
Yeah, I'm getting ridiculed for doing my job, SMH. Anyways, Tommy Azelin currently matching his best lap time at the moment on this quali run. He will have one more lap to try and take that pole position spot. It seems like he got a bit of a poor exit there, so he's now 2/10 down compared to his fastest lap. And I think he's just going to set up his final lap and hope for the best. I will say though, Sergei Sotskov is having a blistering lap time at the moment, coming down the main straight now. In that McLaren, he is 2/10 up on his current time, which would potentially put him into P2, but will he be able to put it into pole position?
It's going to be... The top looks quite close, don't they? They're all very close together. Well, close-ish. Faragnolo's lap was very good. But...
blistering lap time for Varagnolo, who has now gone into the pit lane, so he will not be there to try and defend his provisional pole position. He just went out, set one lap, went home, and job's done. So Sotskov crossing the line now. Is he going to improve? It looks like he's... on his corner exit he managed to lose quite a lot of momentum, and all his lap time he was been building up the past 2 minutes he lost on the final corner, which is very unfortunate. Tommy Aslin, however, is on a positive delta at the moment, and Aidan Bailey, feel free to commentate the last bit of his lap.
Oh my god. My stream's really frozen, so I'm going to have to do it off your slightly 15-second delayed thing.
Okay, never mind then. But anyways, Tommy Azelin, a little bit of a slow through that second sector there. He's lost quite a lot of time. He's saw him going a little bit sideways, going down into the downhill section, I like to call it. So he's currently 3/10 down on his fastest lap time. He will have to have an absolute miracle of a final sector to be able to challenge for that pole position. But he does seem to be safe from his second place as Nico Velman puts his car into P3. Sergei Sotskov is 3/10 down his fastest lap. The only person who's actually improving quite a decent amount on his lap time at the moment is Daniel Hirsch down in P11. So we'll have a look at that. Tommy Aslin is not going to improve on his lap time, so he will get P2 position. Daniel Hirsch, though, he has a potential to maybe get up to P9, potentially will get P10 though. He's 7/10 up on his lap time, and that is exactly the gap between him and P9. So we'll see what he does once he crosses the start-finish line. Will he be able to get into the top 10, or will he just miss out, or will he be P10 overall? Let's see what happens when he crosses the line. He gets a bit of a poor exit, but it's enough to maintain his lap time, and he does get P10 in the end.
So, to be fair, when we said that new guy's lap was pretty quick, there is another silver driver up there with him.
That is true. That is a new driver, I believe, of Ilya Ivanek. I've not seen this driver before on track, and maybe they and Sotskov are joining together.
Way faster than the other silver drivers, though.
Ben Lowes finishing his quali lap now, gets quite a decent exit on the final run. Is he able to improve his lap time? Yes, he is, but it is not enough to go up to P5, so he will be starting P6 for this race. And that is your final standings for the final race of ACC. Vagnola in pole position, followed by Tommy Aslin, Nico Velman, Sergei Soskov, Ilya Ivanik, Ben Lowes, Neo Eriksson, Damien Jensen, and Romain Cloud, and Daniel Hirsch in the top 10.
Oh, I love Bathurst. First lap is always, well, can be a little bit crazy.
Can be, will be, always is. Extremely crazy.
Yeah, it's you've got to be so careful on that first lap. The job now is survive. You've put your car in this position. You've just got to try and survive now.
Yeah, and the first corner is actually quite a tricky one, I would say, as well to get right. It's not just the uphill and downhill sections of the mountain. It is the first corner where a lot of people get caught out.
Yeah, I struggled with this one a lot. The breaking point's a bit weird and the turning and stuff. It's not as easy as it looks.
No. So we get a nice little panoramic view of Mount Panorama at Bathurst, the location in Australia. The best race in the world, 12-hour Bathurst. I would say probably one of the most intense endurance races to be held. I think it's usually in January or February, so that'll be coming soon. Or maybe I'm waffling a little bit here. It's in the Australian summer, so it makes sense to be in the the European winter.
Why do they do it in summer? That sounds warm.
Or maybe they do it in sort of August. No, not August. What am I saying? Autumn, springtime. I'm not sure. I usually believe that the race is during the F1 um, season break. Anyways, I could be
It
waffling.
was February like this year, so
Yeah.
you were right.
So my memory serves me right. And there you go. There is the starting grid for today. 18 drivers today. Not the largest grid we've had, but it's definitely going to be an intense race nevertheless. Federico Vagnolo on pole position, and then we have followed by Tommy Aslin, Nico Veldman, and we have Sergey Soskov, Ivanik, Ben Lowe's, Neo Eriksson, Damien Jensen, R. Claude, Daniel Hirsch, Van Dam, and we have Gareth Wells, Alberti, Ricardo Priem, Sam Chumley, Ruben van der Hudding, Jos Mersman, and Bailey Thompson. So quite some big names at the back here of Bailey Thompson, Sam Chumley, and Ruben van den Hudding.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to fly through the field, aren't they?
And I would say Bathurst is not the easiest track to overtake on, but if
Definitely.
you can definitely it's possible. So it's interesting to see, especially considering there are drivers in front of them who I know for a fact will be slower than them in the uphill section. How much pressure can these three drivers apply on the guys ahead? Maybe force them into a mistake, or will they just take it nice, calm, and collected, and see their opportunities down the main straight?
I think the downhills where they're going to have to be really careful. That's where I think people that aren't as used to this track or aren't as confident, that's where it really shows. They brake a lot earlier, take a lot less speed through those corners, and you've got to be careful you don't run into them. Because it can get you can trip over each other very easily.
Indeed, you can. Especially when people start braking at points you don't expect them to brake, and that's caught me out a few times when racing with Silver Class or racing with drivers who are slower than me on track. It is sometimes they're just not used to the track. There's nothing wrong with being a faster or a slower driver. There's nothing wrong with getting used to the track, but sometimes people who don't know the track will brake at certain points, which you just don't need to brake in because they're not confident yet, and that's fine. But that does catch out pro drivers, and I have been caught out a few times by doing that.
Yes, I've also been on the other end of it when I was a silver driver.
Yeah.
It's completely different, like the feeling you get when you're a silver driver to pro driver. You don't look at it that much, but like it took me like 2 years pretty much to change from silver to pro, of racing every season here.
I don't remember what it was for me. I think I was always a top 10 contender at 2S right from the start. But then again, everyone's improved from the top 10 contending from the start. Our first races, we would probably be considered. All of us would be considered silver nowadays. But all our first races, we were just as fast as each other. We sort of progressed together. I will say though, someone who's progressed very quickly, Sam Chumley, and Bailey Thompson as well. I remember racing Bailey Thompson in the very first race. He took me out. In 2S. He was in a Nissan GTR, I was in the Mercedes AMG, and the Nissan GTR back then was known for being good on late braking. And it was a Monza turn 1, and I think you can sort of imagine what happened there. So even so with some Bailey Thompson has vastly improved for this season.
Bailey's also got age on his side as well. He's really young still, and like I know that sounds like I'm making it into like a massive like real life racing. He's got so much time to improve, but he does. He's started younger than probably anyone else in 2S.
Yeah, I would say so.
He's already right at the top of the field.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. We have a couple of young guns coming in. We had a 2 times champion at 2S, George Babin, I remember he was also extremely young when he won those championships. And again, very rapid driver. I wouldn't say it's because he had time in his hands. He just learned so quickly.
Yeah. I was 17 when I came in.
I think I was 19, 20?
Was Bailey like 14?
No.
How old was he?
I don't know. He's been in 2S for a very long time. Maybe he can tell us at the end of the race. You might be right, to be honest. I think you might be right.
I think he's only just done his like GCSEs, so
yeah,
he can't be far off 14. Has he been here since season 1?
Before season 1.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He was racing the F1 before ACC was even a thing here, so he's been in for a long time.
Damn.
That Bentley boat is quick. Yes, it is. It's Tommy Aslan at the wheel. Anything he drives will definitely be a quick thing today, or any day, to be honest. And then it's nice to see brotherly love in the chat. That's Carl Hirsch. He's won a silver class a few times this season, I'd say, and then he's not able to join us on track today, but he's definitely able to join us to cheer on his brother. And there's a spin in the background. I don't know who that was.
That was Wells.
Gareth Wells, current driver in P12. Okay. But anyways, we are about to go green. Federico Vargnolo leading the pack. Tommy Aslan right behind us. A little bit of a gap, but I'm pretty sure that will close up by the time they round the final corner. Will Vargnolo still be P1 at the end of the lap? Will it be Tommy Aslan who takes that pole position away and starts leads at the end of the first lap? Will it be Nico Velman, or will it be an entirely different driver? We are about to find out as the final race of the 2S Season 14 season is about to commence. And here we go, green lights. Tommy Aslan gets a brilliant start, so does Vargnolo. Both drivers leading away from the pack. Tommy Aslan on the outside, Vargnolo having a bit of a poor exit. Tommy Aslan with a brilliant run on Vargnolo, just slots his way past, and he is straight into P1. No chances taken there, and he is leading by quite some margin already from Federico Vargnolo. Both drivers having a brilliant start, but then behind Nico Velman in P3 still just maintaining his gap. Ben Lowe's trying to go up the inside of Ivanek and is able to capitalize off the position he had on track and is up to P5 now behind Sotskov in that silver class leading car. Great start from Tommy Aslan.
Carnage at the back, by the way.
I'll have a look at that later, but Nico Velman has made a mistake, and it seems like Sotskov got a little bit caught up. Ben Lowe's is right behind Sotskov, almost pushing him through the fast section. Ben Lowe's goes a little bit wide, and he's tapped the wall. That's going to give him quite a lot of damage. I see there's yellow flags at the back, and we're going to have to go cut back to see what's going on back there. Oh, there's a Audi on the track. Alright, so let's have a look at the replay. So we have, at the very start, we have Damien Jensen and I believe Neo Eriksson having been out of contact, but I think that's just a bit of rubbing on the... Oh, there it is. You see the car spinning around at the back. That's Ruben van Hunting being collected as well. So that's a bit of an unfortunate incident there at the back. And then we have the number 808, it seems, spinning around, or what's happened with the... Oh, okay, that was a contact with Ben Lowe's going into the wall. So a little bit of carnage at the start, but not too much. But Vargnolo going for the dive on Tommy Aslan, completely misses his braking point, jumps off the track, and that's going to give him Tommy Aslan plenty of breathing space now as Nico Velman is able to capitalize and goes up to P2 in front of Federico Vargnolo, who goes for a dive bomb and completely misses judges where the corner is.
Tommy's got to get away as quick as possible now because Vargnolo looks very quick. It's going to be hard to pass Nico as well. Nico's probably one of the best defensive drivers we have here in the league. And Bathurst of all tracks is not who you want to be stuck behind.
It'd be very difficult, and I know that Audi is quick on the straight line as well, so it'd be even tricky to overtake. I will say Bailey Thompson and Sam Chumley, they've been following each other up the grid. Bailey Thompson already up to P10, Sam Chumley up to P11. They've just managed to dispatch of Daniel Hirsch, and now Bailey Thompson trying to go around the outside of Damien Jensen in the second corner is not able to quite make a stick. I think touches the wall slightly. That might allow Sam Chumley to get a bit of a run on Bailey Thompson, but he seems to slot in behind and take the calculated route of just stay behind in the mountain section, and then we'll take him on the straight.
I'm amazed Bailey's got in front of Sam. I wonder how that happened, because Sam was a couple like cars. There was a couple cars between them for the first lap or so. So I wonder if Sam made a mistake or something. We'll have a look at some point later, but interesting.
Yeah, very interesting start for the race indeed, as they're almost pushing Damien Jensen through the corners there, and that is Romain Claude they're catching up to in front as well. So a bit of a 4-car train at the moment between the 3 pro drivers and Romain Claude.
Yeah, it's going to start spreading out a little bit now. We're going to start seeing who's more confident, less confident. The gaps are going to start forming a little bit. It's a long race here at Bathurst, so.
It is. Ilya Ivanek getting a great run on Ben Lowes. He's going to try for the outside. He decides to back out of it. Ben Lowes able to maintain his position for now. I was going to say that would be a very brave move by Ilya Ivanek, but they decided to slot in behind. So good racing between these 2 drivers at the moment, and I think this battle is going to go all the way through to the end of the race. You can see there is damage on Ben Lowes' car. How will he be able to navigate that?
Tommy Azelin lapped 3 tenths faster than the 2 cars behind him, who are on equal pace last lap. So he's pulling away.
Tommy Aslin did what he needed to do in that first corner. He got an amazing slingshot out of turn 1. I don't know how he managed to do it, but around the outside, stuck it out there, got such a good exit with a brilliant run down into turn 2, and there was nothing Ragnolo could do. Ragnolo managed to maintain his gap between Tommy Aslin. I tried to overtake him again at the end of the long straight, but completely misjudged his braking point. I sort of giving Tommy Aslin the breathing space he needs to just start cooking and produce an absolutely amazing dish.
Oh, Varagnola just tapped the wall again. So they're going to be... It's kind of like a downward spiral at Bathurst. If you tap the wall once, it just keeps happening again and again because the car gets more unstable. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on his wall tapping today, and Sam Chumley is pressuring Damien Jensen behind him, and that is Bailey Thompson going for a move up the inside into the spoon curve, and that is Daniel Hirsch off the track. Huge crash. I think Sam Chumley got involved as well. That is a massive damage between Bailey Thompson, Sam Chumley, and Daniel Hirsch, who've all been collected in that fight. And that was I'm going to go to the replays because I missed half of that. So it looked like Bailey Thompson trying to go up the inside of Daniel Hirsch in the high-speed corner, not a place where you want to go overtake. Daniel Hirsch on the brakes, Sam Chumley nowhere to go, collects the back end of Daniel Hirsch, and that is a very unfortunate incident. And I think the stewards will have a bit of a chat to with the 2S champion, not what he would wanted to end his season with doing.
That was like Sam whacked them very quickly. It was multiple incidents all shoved into one there. It's going to be fun for the stewards, but
yeah. And then Ruben van der Hooding trying on the inside of Daniel Hirsch, completely loses his car, takes out all the braking points, somehow keeps it straight, but then Sam Chumley up the inside with the rejoin from Ruben van der Hooding, and they're both off the track, and the 2 pro drivers. Ay. It's all gone wrong this lap.
This is exactly what I expected, to be honest. Not quite this soon, but...
And all the meantime, while that's happening, Federico Vagnola trying to go around the outside of Nico Veldman into turn 2, but not quite able to make it stick. Nico Veldman doing a brilliant defensive job.
He's flying. They're both so evenly matched on pace. And Tommy's not really pulling away, is he?
He's slowly but surely peeling away. The last lap was quicker from Nico Veldman and Vagnola compared to Tommy. But I would say the last laps are the best laps as well for these 2 drivers, and Tommy Allison's best lap was a couple laps earlier. So he's maintaining his gap, it seems like, but there is a 3-way fight happening behind him, and that's definitely going to cause a few issues, at least for Vagnola and Sotskov. And Vagnola goes very deep into the wall, bounces off the wall yet again, and then loses a position to Sotskov in the process. So his car went from slightly damaged to very damaged. Ben Lowes looking to try and capitalize on this.
In that review.
Oi. Ben Lowes going up the inside. He's going to make contact. No, they somehow both managed to survive through that. Ben Lowes slots in behind the McLaren. Looks like there's a paper size gap between these 2 cars at the moment. Let's see what happens.
We know what Mercedes are normally like down this straight, so... Ben... Speaking of Ben, he's getting currently passed by the car behind him.
Yeah, that is Ivanovic is going to go on the
does not
brakes deep,
seem-
almost collects Vagnolo, but brilliant overtake from Ivanic, and Ben Lowes loses a position when it goes from being the attacker to the attackee, and that is Vagnolo diving into the pit lane.
Ben's car looked to struggle on the straight line there. It's going to be hard for him to defend if that's the case.
Yeah, he does have a bit of damage. I wonder if that has anything to play with.
Oh, he hit the wall, didn't he, a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So we're seeing some early pit stops from people that have had damage and stuff. The strategies near the end of the race are going to be very mixed up.
Very mixed up indeed, but I think people who are repairing the damage, as Bailey Thompson and Sam Chumley also in the pit lane at the moment, we might see a comeback drive from them once they get into clean air. Once they have no one to race, don't count them out for a top 10 position just yet.
Definitely. Bailey's got nobody in front of him for a little while now. He's going to fly.
Ben Lowes in the wall yet again, and as you said, you collect a little bit of damage. You start getting a bit of understeer, your car starts reacting differently, and then suddenly you're in the wall again, and then you get more damage, and it's just a snowball. It's a great analogy that is driving at Bathurst.
Oh, Ben has gone right round.
Ben doing his best impression of a Beyblade going through that corner, and he loses out to Neo Eriksson, who was behind him, and Damien Jensen is now down into P7. Keeps it out the wall, but I'm sure his socks will be a little bit sandy after that one.
Ivanic or Ivanik, however, sorry for butchering your name, just in front, who was just in front of Ben, also nicked the wall going in. So everybody getting a little bit messy with their laps, and they all need to just kind of calm down, chill out a bit, and just settle into it. Ben's car's going to be a nightmare to drive now, though.
Yeah, he's going to have quite a tricky race ahead of him. Maybe he's going to try and brave it out to make sure his strategy is still on plan A and not plan B, C, D, E, whatever Ferrari can think of. But I'm sure Ben Lowes is able to control a car like that. But I will say, out of all the cars to have damage on the mountain, it is the Mercedes that is the trickiest of them all to drive.
And Ben is in the pits. I think that's the safest bet.
Yeah. Get a fresh new set of tyres, repair the damage you need to repair, come out again, live to survive, or survive to fight another day. Speak of fighting, Ivanic right behind Sotskov, the two silver drivers battling out for the win at the moment. Although, to be fair, they might be promoted to Pro Class at the end of this race. But this is a very entertaining fight going on.
Yeah, they both seem to be very close to each other, don't they? It'll be interesting, the development on it.
Very much so. It looks like Sotskov going a little bit deep, and that's going to allow Ivanic to try and make a move. But it doesn't quite have the run there to go into the uphill section, and Sotskov does manage to stay ahead just for now. But Ivanic is getting closer and closer. He's applying the pressure, and Sotskov is slowly but surely maintaining his gap behind him. But it is definitely not an easy task for Sotskov to stay ahead of Ivanic for this race.
Pressure builds a lot at Bathurst. You look and it's really hard to not keep thinking about that car behind you every braking zone.
It is quite difficult, but then again, it is Bathurst. I think the greatest tip you can give to a driver at Bathurst: don't race in your mirrors. I mean, that's also a tip generally, but especially at Bathurst, there is only a couple of overtaking opportunities, and it's not up the mountain. Keep your eyes focused forwards. Nail your braking points, and most likely you won't get overtaken. Apart from the next braking point we're about to come up to, because that is probably the best overtaking opportunity with Sotskov getting close. Well, Ivanic getting closer to Sotskov as by the second. Is he going to try and go up the inside? Looks a little bit too far behind to make a move, and slots in behind yet again.
Yeah, that was them. I feel like this is going to go all race, and I'm all for it. I think it'll be really interesting.
Indeed, it will. Two new faces at 2S, and they're already providing great entertainment for all of us sitting at home.
The field is a little bit messy at the moment. There's a lot of people out of position due to damage and stuff. Ben, Sam, Bailey, they're all very low down because of their damage. But I think after pit stops, it'll be interesting because all of them are in relatively clean air now. It'll be interesting to see where people come back out in because all of them are fast enough to be right up there at the top of the field.
What I find very interesting is Ben Lowes is somehow 12 seconds behind Bailey Thompson, and Bailey Thompson had quite a big spin.
Yeah.
I suppose Ben Lowes did as well, but I think Bailey Thompson had more damage. So
I would imagine Bailey had more damage. He got absolutely clattered. Well, he absolutely clattered.
Yeah, and then we have Gareth Wells. Oh no, collecting the curb on the inside there of the fast left. What?
I'm amazed.
No way. He bounced off the wall. He's like, just a bit of a spin, goes straight. I was expecting him to go flying further on into the gravel trap, but nope.
Really said cool, bro, but didn't ask. No, that was very well caught.
Bonus style points for that one.
Can we give out bonus points? We should get commentators should be allowed to give out a bonus point to one driver every race. Just a single point.
I feel like that's too much power to have.
I reckon no, it doesn't have to count towards anything, but then we'll have like a special like role or something for commentator award.
Well, like a Ballon d'Or, but for commentators.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Since tonight is the night where Messi
wins.
wrongly wins the Ballon d'Or.
It is. And that is Ivanek going into the pit lane, so maybe trying a bit of an undercut on Soskov, feeling he maybe held up slightly compared to the driver ahead of him. We'll see what happens once Soskov has been into the pit lane. Who comes out ahead? We should find out. Something that's been interesting, Nico Veldman gaining on Tommy Aslin ahead.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And further down, there's a lot of gaining happening actually. There's Lander Hudding is now up to 9th due to a mistake by Meersman. I just caught that as I was flicking through the drivers.
Yep, Fender Hudding still needing to pit, but it seems there's quite a lot of damage on his car, but I'm quite interested to see what that Vargnolo, Thompson, Lowe's, Chumley, what that group of 4 drivers could do once they catch up to the guys ahead of them, because they are absolutely flyers at the moment.
Sam is catching Ben, but it's not massively. And both of them are on the same strategy now, so Sam is literally racing Ben. He has to catch up to him. He has to overtake him on track properly, unless there's a crash. But Sam is flying at the moment.
Yeah, anything can happen at Bathurst, and we're about to see Ilya Ivanek leave the pit lane, which will give us a good indication of where the other drivers are in relation to that. So we'll have a look on the track map, and you can see the number 28 driver is down the straight ahead of Ivanek. So there's almost... Wait. Yeah, there's almost... Yeah, Bailey Thompson is right ahead of Ilya Ivanek, so there's almost a full lap that... Vargnolo and Bailey Thompson, Ben Lowes and Chumley have to catch from where they were previously.
Bailey is a lot further behind than...
Oh wait, no, wait, what am I...
Yeah, no. Bailey is ahead of him.
Bailey's ahead. I'm waffling. What's going on?
Ben's only 15 seconds away and Sam about 30 seconds away.
So Bailey Thompson ahead of Ivanek. I thought there was a lap behind because of the timing. It seemed... it was quite odd. I was wondering how that was possible, but... Okay, Ivanek touches the wall a little bit. Maybe there was a bit of a poor pit stop. I'm not sure. But Vargnolo, 10 seconds ahead of Ivanek. That is crazy pace.
Yeah,
if that's how it's going at the moment, it could be very much that Vargnolo has done an undercut on Tommy Aslin and Nico Veldman, and will be P1 by the end of the pit strategy.
Really interesting. We'll see. Wonder when Tommy will pit. We're getting closer to the halfway point of the race now.
We are indeed. I think there's going to be around 17, 18 laps of racing today, and we're on lap 8. So as you said, we're closing in on the halfway point, and Vargnolo going a little bit deep there into the grass. You can see there's still damage on his car. I wonder if he's repaired it, or if that's just visual damage. Coming back into the pit lane though. Very... Okay.
I'm guessing he does have damage.
Maybe...
That's a shame. Because he's
that looks like
and I'm guessing retiring. That's a shame.
That is a shame. But then Bailey Thompson was ahead of Ivanek, who was right behind Sotskov, who's only 7 seconds behind Nico Veldman. So if we calculate behind with that gap, Bailey Thompson has about, I would say, 5 seconds to catch before he is in P1 after Tommy Aslin pits. That's including his spin.
That's crazy.
Unless Ivanik has had a really poor pit stop and we're calculating this off based off Ivanik's poor pit stop. We don't know just yet. But if that's the case, that is insane. We will find out shortly once Tommy Aslin and Nico Velvet pit. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm really excited for when everyone's pit stops are done now. It's just a hunt, it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some maths quickly, find out just
The
how
thing
far
is as well,
behind
Tommy Aslin, Nico Velvet, they would have no idea of the pace that Bailey Thompson's running right now. Bailey Thompson, let me just quickly tell you. Last lap, 2-minute 1.3. Tommy Aslin last lap, 2-minute 2.6. Nico Velman last lap, 2-minute 2.4. He's more than a second faster than the two drivers in top 2 at the moment. Absolutely
rapid,
flying. Although he might get a 10-second penalty at the end of the race. But anyways.
I am doing maths at the moment to find out just how far away Bailey is. He's about 50 seconds back.
I will have a look once he crosses the line, because I can see the delta time of Tommy Aslin's current lap. Once Bailey Thompson crosses the line, I'll tell you how far ahead Tommy Aslin is currently on track compared to Bailey Thompson. It seems like quite a while though. A pit stop is 30 seconds in the pit lane, stationary, and about 30 seconds to drive through the pit lane. But Bailey Thompson is, I'll tell you right now, 1 minute and 10 seconds behind Tommy Aslin.
My estimates were slightly off.
But it does take about a minute to finish a pit stop here at Bathurst, so that is around 10 seconds. And Bailey Thompson is absolutely flying at the moment.
Tommy will have much fresher tyres though. Bailey pitted very early.
That is true, but then again, it's not a long race, and these tyres that Bailey Thompson are running won't go off by the time the race is finished.
This is true.
And the track temp is also slowly but surely coming down. I can see it's getting quicker and quicker. Bailey Thompson's last lap, 2:01.6. Tommy Aslin's last lap, 2:02.6. Still a second faster than all the guys ahead, and you can see that with his fastest lap time at the moment.
Crazy.
Absolutely flying.
He did no practice either. He missed
Nico Velman in the pit lane. This is going to get interesting.
Interesting. This is one of the front runners now. It'd be nice to watch how long his pit stop is as well.
Indeed it will. I think it takes around one minute.
I think you're about right there. You know a lot more about Bathurst than I do. You're a very seasoned driver here.
I would say it's the track I've had most success in. But it's taking Nico, it's taking him 25 seconds to go from the pit entrance to stationary. So yeah, around 1 minute, give or take.
Just over, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close, I think.
It definitely is.
And with Bailey's going now, could he get in front and then pull away realistically a 10-second gap for that penalty?
At the moment, Nico Velman's still in the pit lane. You see Tommy Aslin absolutely flying. We're going to see Bailey Thompson now. He is rounding the final few corners. He just has one more corner to go before he is on that little straight. Nico Velman has just dropped his car off the jacks, and he is on his way down onto the track. Bailey Thompson rounding the final corner. Nico Velman rounding the first corner. There's probably around 10 seconds between the two drivers, but we can see Bailey Thompson is flying at the moment.
12 seconds between them, that's not a lot. And with the speeds that Bailey, with the laps that Bailey was doing before, we'll see if Nico can match them. But Bailey was flying. Be interesting.
He is absolutely flying, but I think the mistake that he did earlier with Daniel Hirsch will cost him dearly. Not just because he lost time on track, but also because it could be a penalty coming his way. So he has a lot to do to be able to take that P1 position, but it's not over till it's over. There's still 22 minutes to go, and it is still Bathurst as Tommy Aslin now dives into the pit lane. This will be interesting between him and Nico Velman. Nico Velman
he had a very rough pit entry though, didn't he?
Yeah, that was I didn't catch too much on the stream, but the pit entrance can be milked quite hard at Bathurst. It's one of those you can gain 2 or 3 seconds if you go a little bit overboard with it. So I think if that's what you're referring to, then I think
that is
a good strategy.
I mean, Tommy knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah. So the pit stop of Nico Wellman was 1 minute and 6 seconds.
We will see. However, Tommy looked like he was still moving very slowly for quite a while there.
It could be the case of us ACC drivers like to say dropped. It's when you don't hit the pit box just correctly, the car gets jacked up and then it gets dropped down again, and then it takes a couple of seconds before it gets jacked up. You lose around 10 seconds when this happens, and that could be something that's happened. Nico Wellman rounding the final corner. Tommy Aslan still in the pit lane, still hasn't been dropped. Nico Wellman coming down the pit straight. Tommy Aslan's now been dropped down on his jack stand. He will have a shorter run, but I think Nico Wellman is going to overtake Tommy Aslan. There he is, Nico Wellman out of the corner of our eye right there, 3 seconds ahead of Tommy Aslan. And I'm saying that because the pit stop of Tommy Aslan was 3 seconds slower than what Nico Wellman was doing, and it's around that gap on track as well. So now Nico Wellman up into P1 with an undercut strategy from the Dutch driver.
This also brings Bailey a little bit closer to Tommy.
It does.
I think that's really unfortunate for Tommy because he managed to stay ahead for the first half of the race really well. He was doing very strong lap times, and it's just a bit of unlucky pits.
Also considering Tommy, he decided today that he wanted to race, and he hasn't touched a sim in about 2 months' time. He's having a phenomenal race.
It makes you think what he could do if he was prepared for this race.
Yes. But the gap is 2 seconds now. Tommy Aslan, I think he is absolutely flat. He's gaining quite a lot on Nico Wellman, actually. Just on this outlap alone. It could be, with these new tyres, he's gained a newfound confidence in that Bentley.
Then Bailey behind is also catching on him. So this is going to get very interesting.
Ben Lowes, we didn't see the pass happen, but we'll show. We can probably guess it's happened on the making a move back up to P6 where he started, compared to Neo Eriksson, and hopefully able to complete the race without another spin or a crash of some sort.
I'm amazed that all of these drivers have managed to come straight back up again. And Bailey, who started last, never mind starting up top and then having an incident, he started right at the back, had an incident that put him further back again, and he's now fourth, possibly in contention with these front runners.
But Sotskov has not finished his pit stop yet. He could be up to third place. We'll see what happens when Sotskov leaves the pit lane. It's going to be close between these two drivers. As they, Sotskov is leaving the pit lane now, and I believe Bailey Thompson will potentially get a run on him. At the moment, we see Sam Chumley pressuring Daniel Hirsch, but I'm going to go cut to Bailey Thompson because that is a bit more interesting. Where is Sotskov? He's 2 seconds ahead.
Too far ahead, yeah.
So he's still got a way to go. But Sam Chumley now behind Daniel Hirsch, the driver he got collected by earlier on. No fault from Daniel Hirsch, maybe a little bit from Sam Chumley for not slowing on the else, but it could be very tricky to tell. It's one of those racing incidents. Nicely job goes around the inside of Daniel Hirsch and goes up to P9. Of course, this battle is not for position in class, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm sure it will a little bit to the driver's egos. Oh, and that's Van der Hooding off the track.
Interesting. I have no idea why he was stopped there, but
very interesting.
It's a weird place to stop as well.
Cutting to Federico Alberti, who caught a little bit of grass in the braking point, almost got the car pointing in the wrong direction, but catches it right at the very end. Nicely done.
The field is very spread now, but we've got what looks to be a good fight on for first here. Yep,
the last lap of Nico Wellman was a 2:02.1, and the last lap of Tommy Aslan was a 2:02.3, so 2/10 quicker from Nico Wellman. So Tommy Aslan losing a little bit of time on that lap. It could be that Tommy Aslan just doesn't have the pace to compete for P1 today, but he's definitely giving Nico Wellman a run for his money, and all it takes is one small mistake between either of these drivers and the positions change.
It's so simple to just step out, isn't it? Bailey, by the way, last lap 2:01.4.
Bailey's just doing Bailey things at this point. He's absolutely flying.
I think he will catch them in the end. He's got to get past this next driver first. So.
Saying that though, Nico Wellman last lap 2:01.5. Yeah. Nico Wellman absolutely flying as well. So that is matching Bailey Thompson's
than Bailey's
pace.
Last lap by 2 tenths.
You see Bailey Thompson in the background there, getting closer to Soskov ahead of him. That's going to be an interesting fight to watch out for as well.
Oh, this is there's not a lot of on-track action, but it's exciting. Everything's happening still.
It's building
There's
up
a
to
lot
be
to watch.
a mega final.
You have to keep an eye on, keep like 4 eyes on 10 different drivers. Not quite 10, but it's very, very spicy.
Yeah. It's a game of, it's not a pure battling side-by-side action. Well, we are getting a little bit side-by-side action now between Van der Hooding and Daniel Hirsch, who just managed to stay ahead just for now. But it's not a battle of on-track battles, it's a battle of people putting down the pace at the moment, because it could really go in, the top 4 could be completely different by the end of this race. And that's also not to discount Ilya Ivanik, who's only 5 seconds behind Bailey Thompson at the moment.
Yeah, he's not going bad at all. And Bailey this lap isn't catching the car in front very much at all. So whether these tyres are starting to show their wear a little bit more compared to the people that have...
Huge send on the outside from Ruben van der Hooding. Goes into the wall, bit of contact with Daniel Hirsch. Somehow doesn't...
That was brave.
I need to see a replay of that. That was insane.
I missed it. I watched it on the stream, and that was crazy.
The replay unfortunately missed it, so we won't get to see it again. But that was insane driving from Ruben van der Hooding. Maybe a tad bit aggressive, but wow, somehow managed to make that work.
2015 there from Nico. 2016 from Bailey.
You know what's funny? Tommy Aslin last lap 202. 0.7.
Yeah.
Sergei Sotskov last lap 202. 0.7. Identical lap times between P2 and P3.
It's Bailey, I think he's slowly catching. However, with the quite likely penalty, I think he's going to struggle to keep these positions post-race. He needs to hope he can make a big enough gap to Ivanik behind him, though, because it could get very tricky.
It could indeed, and Soskov obviously doesn't know that Bailey Thompson has a penalty, so he's going to fight with all he can to keep that last position on the podium, which is also how you should be driving. I think Bailey Thompson will give it his all. It's going to be an entertaining battle, even though the outcome is sort of already given, but it could be great racing between the two drivers. Bailey Thompson grazing the outside wall there with a bit of a slide in his McLaren.
He needs to be careful because he's rapid and he can get past the cars in front of him, but he's got to be so careful. It's just I'm mixing my words up so much today, but no, Bailey's driving well. He just has to make sure he doesn't lose focus, make any silly mistakes and stuff.
Yeah, he's so far so good in the second stint of his. He's been quite consistent on the 201 lap times. But Sergei Sotskov is also flying at the moment, and you can see the gap is not closing as quickly as we thought it would be.
No, it's not. But Bailey did have that light incident as well, so we'll see. Sotskov very close to Tommy though.
Yeah, Tommy Aslin slowly but surely falling a little bit behind Nico Velman, but I would say Sotskov is still 6-second gap in 30 minutes. That is a big gap to close.
Faster lap. Oh, I was reading the wrong time. I was reading Bailey's time to Sotskov. My bad.
I will say...
Tommy also went faster that lap than them too.
Did he?
Yes, I believe so.
No, he did an identical lap time again.
You're looking at their best, Chris.
I'm looking at the last.
Well, on my screen, Tommy's last was his best, and Sotskov's last was 2:02.
And the lap before, Tommy Aslin's lap before was also 2:02.
Oh, was it?
0.070. Tommy Aslin has just put in 2 identical lap times.
That is still faster than the people behind him, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane consistency.
That's crazy. Tommy, though. Only things Tommy can do.
just Tommy things.
Nico's kind of checking out. I say Nico's checking out, but he has a little moment going into the final corner of the hill section there.
Yeah, Nico's last lap was a 2:01.4, which is almost matching Bailey Thompson's fastest lap of the race, a 2:01.3. So Nico is, as you said, flying. But that little moment could cost him on this lap at the moment.
2 seconds on his delta because of it.
Oh, that is a big gap to lose. And then suddenly, Tommy Aslin, he can see Nico ahead of him. That might give him a little bit of a motivational push to go that extra further. And that's also going to be a confidence knock on Nico Velman. He's got a bit of damage on the front of his car. This could be very interesting for the last 10 minutes of the race. If he picked up damage, will it unsettle the car? Will it make it less drivable? And also, crucially, will it slow him down in the straights and in the corners as well? I don't think it's enough damage. He still seems to be very confident in the car, but that's definitely thrown a curveball into the mix.
Slower pretty much than Tommy on that lap because of that mistake there.
Indeed, yeah.
We'll see how it develops. There's still 11 minutes left of this race. And also, Bailey is just about within a second now of Soskov ahead of him. He's catching, but it's very slowly now. He's not going quite at the speeds he was before.
Yeah, last lap
Bailey Thompson. 2:17 though.
Yeah, gained 2/10 on Soskov ahead of him, and he is within the second now. Of course, there's no DRS in these GT3 cars, and it's difficult to follow through the mountain. You sort of lose a little bit of time in the mountain because you're just preparing for the next corner. It's a difficult situation.
It is. Soskov, their last lap being their fastest lap of the race so far as well, and they're currently up on it as well, so they're really finding some confidence and some pace watching Bailey behind them. Not literally watching him, but
it could be what you said earlier about the tyre deficit that Bailey doesn't have anymore, and that Sergei Soskov has in his advantage. I think Bailey Thompson has around, he pitted on lap 2, I believe.
It was very early on.
Very early on, maybe lap 3. So his tyres will definitely be worn down more. They're not going to be completely worn down, they'll still be very good, but they're much more worn compared to Sergei Soskov, who pitted just a couple laps ago.
Definitely. Nico's down a lot on his lap as well. He's back in the 2s again. Tommy seems to have been catching a little bit this lap.
Yeah, I'm watching the Delta. Nico seems to be almost, he's 8/10 slower this lap around. It could be a confidence knock. It could be assessing the damage on his car. Tommy Aslin running identical Delta at the moment compared to his best lap. He's going to do 3 laps in a row at the same Delta.
Oh, he's ruined it. He went faster.
Oh, he's
Did he?
No, he didn't.
He's slower.
100th slower. What is this guy? What is he on? What did he add for? He's incredibly consistent.
These people from Luxembourg, you see, drinking their Lux Lit.
it's the Lux Lit. But it's a sign of Tommy Aslin completely dialed in. Nico Velman seems to be struggling a little bit. This could be an intense battle come the end of the race. We have 8 minutes left, which is about 4 laps plus the lap after the timer goes down. Tommy Aslin is gaining just enough time, I think, to be able to apply pressure in the last lap on Nico Velman if it stays this way. But Nico Velman running with a bit of damage. Are we going to see the Bathurst Classic of a little bit of damage leads to slightly more incidents, leads to slightly more damage, to suddenly having a completely broken car?
Yeah, he just needs to be very careful. But it's hard to be careful and fast at the same time when you're trying to hold on to a race win. It's not easy.
Ben Lowes and Neo Eriksson having a bit of a race now. I think Ben Lowes made a mistake in his last lap. It was quite a bit slower compared to his fastest lap. There also seems to be a little bit of a damage on that Mercedes yet again. Maybe he hit the wall as he goes a little bit wide here, but manages to collect his car nicely for the run actually. And Neo Eriksson slots in a little bit further behind, loses a bit of momentum on Ben Lowes, and it looked like for a second Eriksson was going to surmount the charge, but unfortunate, well, in Eriksson's case, unfortunately, Ben Lowes was just a little bit too quick in the uphill section, and then, fortunately for Ben Lowes, he still is in P6 for now. Another battle we've been talking about for long that's happening now is Bailey Thompson is finally up behind the rear diffuser of Soskov. This is about to get spicy.
Yeah, I've been watching it while you were talking about Ben, and he's very close onto the back of him now. I wouldn't be surprised if Bailey starts going for moves, looking on the straights. And not fastest, but he's back in the ones again now.
Yeah, 106 last lap for Bailey Thompson, and they're going a little bit wide is Sergei Soskov. Is this the mistake Bailey Thompson needed to get that P3 position? Soskov having a poor run. Bailey Thompson goes to the outside. It's not the ideal line to have for the next corner, but will Soskov be able to defend, or will Bailey Thompson be last of the late breakers? It seems like Bailey Thompson has already got a car length ahead. When he turns into the corner, it doesn't hit the apex because Soskov is there on his apex, but still keeps the momentum on the car through the corner and stays ahead, and that is a P3 position for Bailey Thompson until penalty is applied.
So close to touching there. Like, it was millimeters between their cars. So good racing from the both of them. But yeah, it is a shame that it's probably not going to stay like this. This might give Bailey the chance to pull out the 10-second gap to Ivanek now, though, which that will be in Bailey's mind, knowing what happened earlier on in the race.
Yeah. The drivers are usually quite aware of when the penalty will be coming their way, and I think Bailey Thompson will definitely be racing with that in mind, as you said. But if he can manage to get ahead of Ivanek, that is still going to be a great result for Bailey Thompson, finishing in P4 after starting in last position.
Definitely. Very good showing. Further up in the field, Tommy is now only a second away from Nico now.
Yeah, last lap of Tommy Aslin at 2:01.7.
He's flying, whereas Nico is
2:02.3.
He's slowing a lot more now, isn't he?
Nico seems to be on average running about 5/10 slower than his best lap at the moment, which is slightly slower than Tommy Aslin's pace. Let's see what the lap times are going to be this time around. Tommy Aslin chasing Nico Wellman down, sliding through the last corner, getting onto the start-finish straight. Nico Wellman at 2:02.2222. Tommy Aslin at 2:01.815.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker.
Yeah.
He's going to be on him soon.
I'm going to ride on board with Nico Wellman to see what he is struggling with.
I wonder if he has picked up just a little bit too much damage. It's hampering him a little bit. And he's trying to just nurse the car home while trying to keep it in first.
Very well could be. Could be the case. We'll have a look and see how his confidence and how the car reacts in the mountain section. I'm quite familiar with the Audi. I don't know if I'm familiar enough to tell you if anything's wrong with it. That sliding is not going to help in Nico's favour. Tommy Aslin getting closer and closer. Is now within a second of Nico Wellman, and he's lifting slightly. It looks like Nico Wellman is dealing with a bit of understeer. We'll see through this fast corner. Quite substantial lifting for an Audi in this section. And it definitely, yeah, the car is, it looks to be understeering a bit more than what Nico Wellman would have liked.
There was not a lot of lifting going on for Tommy, at least through the first few corners of the flat bit in quali.
Yeah. However, I will say, Nico Wellman, it seems to be he's dealing with the damage better now than he was earlier on in the race.
Yeah, the gap seems to be, it hasn't changed much this lap. Well, it hasn't changed at all this lap, really. It's been nailed on at a second, so he's finding summit, and he only needs to hold on for, is it going to be 2 more laps, I would guess?
Yeah, once they cross the, yeah, it'll probably be 2 more laps.
So it's not a long time for Nico to have to hold on now.
Neo Eriksson trying again with Ben Lowes. So Ben Lowes a little bit sideways at the top of the mountain there. Neo Eriksson getting all sorts of caught up in Ben Lowes' breaking point there. Just saw him take a little bit of a breather, and the gap that was 3/10 is now back down to 1 second between these two drivers. Last lap, Nico Wellman 2:01.8. Last lap, Tommy Aslin 2:01.9. So Nico Wellman seems to have understood what damage his car has and has got his car and his pace back into him.
They're so close. I think Nico should be able to hold on a little bit, but I also don't want to commentator curse him. But it didn't work for Betch at Suzuka, so it clearly doesn't exist. Because if commentators curse existed, it would have happened then, because we were willing it to happen.
I don't know, I wasn't willing it to happen. I don't know what you were on about.
Well, it was Timo.
Timo, great commentator.
Kooky stream.
But the thing is, once you start talking about commentators curse, it usually doesn't happen. It's sort of, that's what I've noticed. Nico Wellman getting a bit sideways on the exit there, but actually has a brilliant run. Nico, it seems he might have had a bit of damage, might have had his confidence knocked, but whatever that was, he is back in the race now.
Yeah, his lap times aren't too far off his best now. Tommy neither, though. He's also flying still. But Nico just seems to be gaining maybe a tenth or so every lap, just managing the gap. And yeah, I think he should be alright now. He's got one lap left. It's going to be very hard for Tommy to catch up that gap and then overtake as well.
Indeed, but then it is again the final lap nerves they might kick in, we'll have to see. But Nico Wellman, he's not the kind of driver to get rattled by that, nor is Tommy Aslin, so I think these two drivers will maintain the positions they have on the grid at the moment.
Yeah, Nico's a seasoned winner. Tommy is as well. Tommy's won before in 2S, hasn't he?
He's not a champion, but he has won quite a few races, yes.
Whereas Nico won loads of races. He's won a championship as well. He knows what he's doing in this situation.
Yeah, and Tommy Aslin, I will say though, he's been runner-up in countless championships, but just he's been the most consistent driver, as we've seen today with his lap times, but never consistently winning. Always consistent podiums, which accounts for so many points, which is why he's always been such a dependable driver. But always, it seems that someone is able to get a win over him. Bit of an unlucky situation, but Tommy always gives it his full right until the very end, and it's always so close. It's a shame it never wins in his favour often.
It's not, but Nico is a bit slower this lap. Tommy is catching significantly.
Ben Lowe's, what have you done?
Oh, Ben. Where's he?
Oh,
what happened?
His
car looks battered.
Oh, he got collected behind from Neo Ericsson and then spun into the wall. Oh, that is very unfortunate from Ben Lowe's. He was having such a great race all the way down to P9 on the final lap. Oh, your heart goes out to him. That was through no fault of his own. Just spun completely around and lost a huge amount of time and a huge amount of damage.
He recovered well as well.
Yep. Tommy Aslin now on the back of Nico Wellman. He has one more straight to do it. I think he's too far behind to be able to capitalize on anything, but he's on a fastest lap. Nico Wellman has had a bit of a slower lap through slower run through the mountain section. Tommy Aslin flashing his lights, doing all he can to try and distract Nico Wellman in P1 to maintain that position. Will he get his braking point right? It looks like Nico Wellman does, and there's only a couple of corners left for Tommy Aslin to try and attack Nico Wellman. It's so close yet so far, but it looks like Nico Wellman will still take the P1 position here today at the final race of the season for 2S and Bathurst, Mount Panorama. Nico Wellman rounding the final corner. Tommy Aslin giving it all he got. Nico Wellman takes the checker flag as the winner of today's race, followed very closely by Tommy Aslin right behind. And crucially, Bailey Thompson... No way. Okay, I thought he spun before crossing the line. Bailey Thompson crossed the line in P3. 2 seconds. Yes, Bailey Thompson has just managed to get a 10-second gap to Ivanek behind, and maybe the penalty is 15 seconds and all this doesn't matter, but we'll see later. Congratulations to Sergei Sotskov, winner of Silver Class. Nero Eriksson is the top 5 are quite a bit ahead of the rest of the field today.
Flying, weren't they? It's a real shame for Tommy there. I think having one more lap there, he probably could have got Nico. Because Tommy set his fastest lap of the race on that last lap as well. He was flying.
Yeah, he was on an absolute mission there. But
great race.
Great racing indeed. Very good entertainment at the end. And that is Sam Chumley crossing line, Ruben van der Hooding crossing line. Ben Lowe's, such an unfortunate end to what was a decent race on his side. He was running in P6 for a long time until Neo Eriksson hit him from behind and he crosses the line in P9. And that is a sad looking Mercedes if I've ever seen one.
It's battered, isn't it? Yeah. It's a real shame because Ben recovered really well from the issues at the beginning of the race. And that was through no fault of his own.
Oh! You see Sam Chumley riding his McLaren into the wall there. Of course, no more racing this season, so I guess they don't need the cars anymore. But Sam, that was one way to go out in style.
Is that pretty much everybody over the line? The field was very far spread today, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
just coming round the last corner now, the last few, aren't they?
Oh, I think Preem got Alberti on the final lap because the delta changed as soon as they crossed the line.
The fight that we didn't even really know was happening. I think you touched on it once, didn't you?
Yeah. And that is the end of 2S here for season 14. Thank you everyone who has been joining us throughout the season for the streams. It has been a great pleasure having you guys with us for the couple of times I've been commentating. Thank you, Aiden, for joining me as well in the commentary booth. It's been much easier job with you, and it's been a pleasure having you here today. And I also want to say thank you for all the drivers who made such great entertainment.
Yeah,
what a season it's been.
It's been a really fun season, hasn't it? It's my first full season of commentating and stuff, and you kind of get a different look at it all from normally being one of the racers.
You do. You get a huge perspective change. It's nice. It's very nice. But anyways, thank you everyone who was watching today. We will be updating on upcoming seasons in the ACC channel very soon on Discord. If you're not part of the Discord yet, please feel free to click in the link below and join. If you want to become part of this 2S family, also feel free to join. You don't have to be a sim racer. You can be just a normal bloke or whatever you want to be. Up to you. It's fine. Just join if you feel like you want to join the family. Thank you everyone again for watching and this whole season. Also a quick shout out to Timo for doing that one stream when I was unable to at Suzuka. I'm sure it'll go down in the history books. And yeah, anything else you want to add, Aiden?
No, I think you've covered pretty much everything, but really good fun, great season. Hopefully we see most of the drivers and more come back for season 15. Wow. 2S getting old.
It is indeed getting old. Almost too old. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Too close to home.
I don't like this aging thing. Anyways, we'll see you guys for season 15. Until then, enjoy your life, I guess. And yeah, see you guys next season. Bye-bye.